In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the concepts and terms from Tutorial 2. In Tutorial 2, you're going to be creating a project from scratch, and you will look at some of the default values set when you create a project. So here I have a project that has no tasks yet. If you come to the Project tab, you will see this project information. It's going to open a dialog box that shows some of the default values a new project will have. For example, it assumes that it's going to start today because today's date is May 30th. Notice that I can change this. If I want to start it next week, I'm more than welcome to change that. Okay. Notice this is grayed out. I am not able to edit that. Now let me tell you why. Project's going to do this work for me. So as I add tasks, tasks take a certain duration, and tasks have dependencies where one task has to finish before another one starts. Project's going to calculate this finish date for me. Okay, so I'll come back to change this to today's date. Sometimes, however, this is the default, so we're going to start today. We're going to schedule from the start date. Sometimes what you want to do is you want to give project the finish date, because sometimes you want to schedule from when it's supposed to be done. So an example of this could be an event such as a wedding. So my wedding date's this date. Let me schedule back for when I need to start getting the invitations out. And I don't want to schedule it right now because it's a year and a half away. Does that make sense? Another example, since we're all students here, is maybe you have a project that's due in the middle of July. So are you the type that gets started right away? Then you're going to schedule from the start date. If you're the type like I am that says, okay, it's due the middle of July, it's going to take me a week to get the writing done. Before that, I got another week to get the research done. So I need to start by this time in June. So that would be scheduling from the finish date. Each individual task also has some information that you can access through the task information dialog box. So let's take a look at adding a task and giving it a duration. Okay, so I can add tasks right here in the entry table, which is what you did in Tutorial 1. But if you click on Task, you will notice that over here there's a task information dialog box, and there's a lot more information that you can add about a task. So if this task had to have its notes, you could put in 90 pages of notes if you want to. Okay, let's take a look at this Advanced tab. So you can add deadlines, okay, and there's a constraint type. So since I had said that I want this project to schedule by finish date, every task is going to start as late as possible. Still in time to get done, but as late as possible. If I would have said schedule by start date, my constraint type would be to schedule a task as soon as possible. Let's say that it's going to take 30 hours to lay networking cable. If you've got one man, 30 hours will do it. We'll call that 30 man hours. However, if you have 2 people working on it, is it still going to take 30 hours? Or will it perhaps take 15 hours? So if it's going to take still a total of 30 hours total, 2 people working 15 hours each, then you've got an effort-driven task. Okay? Not everything's effort-driven, but a lot are. And so what project managers can do is if they need to get a project done faster, they can put more resources onto a task and make the duration of that task end up getting completed faster. A project has a default calendar. It assumes that I believe you're going to be working 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and every resource is going to follow that calendar by default. Every task is going to follow that calendar. We're going to call that the standard calendar. You can customize the standard calendar, change the hours, change maybe days off that you have. Maybe you're over at the Arsenal and you're working Monday through Thursday, for example, so you can do that. You can add holidays. Let's take a look at the standard calendar, which you'll find under the Project tab, Change Working Time. So here's our standard calendar. As I said, there's actually other calendars, okay, available also, and you can also create a new calendar. So in the calendar, the white is our working times, the gray is our non-working times. Here I can add some exceptions. So the Memorial Day started this week, so I can add that exception. Okay, and let's say Memorial Day was on that day, so I need to change that to the 27th. If you click on details, you can get into more details. For example, Memorial Day is yearly. Let's say this is a 2-year project. So Memorial Day is going to be on the 4th Monday of May for 2 years. Okay, and it's scheduled that for me. You can also change the working time, etc. in your calendar. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, everything's going to be following whatever you put down into as the hours in your standard calendar. However, you can also create a calendar for a task. Let me give you an example. What if you have a task such as laying network cable down, and so as not to interrupt the people in the office, management wants you to lay the network cable down in the evening. So maybe you're going to work from 6 to 9:30 Monday through Thursday evenings. So you can create a calendar that shows 6 to 9:30 Monday through Thursday evenings as your calendar. You can also create a calendar for resources. So if you're going to have some consultants come in, consultants will be working 10-hour days, 2 days a week, you can create a calendar for those consultants, and then project will schedule accordingly to the duration that you assign that task that the consultants will be working on. Okay, some of the things that you can do in the entry table are add and edit and delete tasks. You can move tasks around, copy and paste them. It's just very much like Excel. Some tasks already added, and so in Excel, if I wanted to add a row in between something that already existed, I would come over here and right mouse click on this row and selector and insert a task, and it's prompting me for my task name. La la la. I want you to notice when you add a new task, there's a question mark by the duration. By default, the duration is 1 day. So I am going to look that you don't have a question mark. If you know the duration and it is 1 day, it should look like that without the question mark. So you can delete tasks by right mouse clicking and hitting delete. You can come in here and you can edit tasks. Oh, team something. You can also use the fill handle, just like in Microsoft Excel. So if you want to copy something really quick, something is 2 days, you can come up to this bottom right corner. Notice how the mouse pointer changes. Drag. Now I don't have to keep adding 2 days. And in your Gantt chart view, a milestone is going to look like a diamond. So here I have the beginning of my request for proposal. And notice the duration's 0 days. That's a milestone. So when it begins, there's a milestone. Okay. Here, the process is complete. I'm going to scroll over to that and notice it looks like a diamond. That's a milestone. What do you put milestones in for motivating to know you've reached a certain part in your project?